With this WrestleTalk news, Tony Khan shoots hard on WWE, a big name debuting after WrestleMania, compulsory CM Punk return speculation, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
But first, we open on breaking shock news. AEW and WWE don't like each other very much. AEW president Tony Khan has a publicly released rant against his main competitor WWE at the current rate of once every 3 months. He alleged WWE used Twitter bots to troll AEW because they probably are. He accused WWE of running shows head-to-head with these major events because they literally did, over and over again. And now he's appeared on the Dan Le Batard show to also confirm and shoot on the previous reports of WWE contract tampering and trying to steal the New Japan relationship. Last summer, following Triple H replacing Vince McMahon at WWE's head of creative, it was heavily reported that numerous AEW contracted talent were approached by WWE in a kind of, hey, what's going on with you these days kind of way. Like it's your ex-girlfriend trying to hook up with you again to make Tommy jealous. Stop doing this to me, Megan. You know you can have me whenever you want me. Swerve Strickland was reportedly one of the names approached, and Chris Jericho claimed he was also contacted. It led to AEW's chief legal officer sending a letter to WWE to ask if maybe they wouldn't try illegally stealing their talent while they were under contract with them. We had seen this behavior under Triple H's watch in the past, and the NXT debuts of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish back in 2017 were postponed because Ring of Honor threatened to sue WWE, alleging they were contract tampering, and more recently, NLW sent a cease and desist letter to WWE about it in January. Khan has given his side of the story, telling the Le Batard show, I've had a lot of wrestlers come to me and allege that WWE reached out to them to tamper with their contracts and asked them to break their contracts. Can't confirm that specifically, I can only tell you what the wrestlers have come to me and said, but I've had multiple wrestlers and staff report that to me. It was very disturbing. Tony doesn't clarify if this is part of the already reported period in the summer of 2022 or if this is an ongoing issue. But wrestlers aren't the only AEW resource WWE is going after. They're also tampering with whole promotions as well. Back in February 2021, AEW and New Japan launched their working relationship when Kenta appeared at the end of an episode of Dynamite. This started a talent exchange program between the two promotions, laying the groundwork for the joint show Forbidden Door just over a year later. Just several months after Kenta's debut, WWE's Nick Khan reportedly reached out to New Japan in an effort to broker their own working relationship, thought to be a way to keep Daniel Bryan interested in staying with WWE at the time. Didn't work out so good. Tony Khan has now confirmed this report and has revealed exactly what New Japan thought about WWE's late-night booty calls. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the cleaner Kenny Shah and the British Bulldog, Philip Boy J. Smith Jr. You too can get your own shout-outs by going to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Tony spoke about reading a rumor online about WWE's Nick Khan calling New Japan to get them to work with him. Tony described his own relationship with New Japan at the time as tumultuous, but it was getting pretty good, so he quickly got in touch himself. I called the New Japan executives and said, is this true? Did WWE call you and try to get you to turn on me? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, are we still going to do the stuff we had planned? Because at the time we had a match set up for Wednesday Night Dynamite, where there was going to be a New Japan title match in AEW. It was the first of many of those such matches. Maybe too many, if you ask me. And they told me, no, we don't trust them, we want to work with you, and we want to stay with you. And ever since, our relationship has been incredibly positive. Tony carried on talking about WWE. If that's the case, I know they're out there to get me. I know they're out there to hurt AEW's relationships with our business partners. If that's the case, allegedly, describing it as a real war between AEW and WWE, with the most real, the most intense, and the most hatred in all of pro wrestling is that between the two wrestling promotions. I think we truly hate each other. Tony spins this hate and war speech into a positive for the fans and wrestling industry alike. Two intensely fierce rivals create strong competition, compelling feuds, and a wildly more lucrative free agent market, meaning the wrestlers themselves can better negotiate more money. But is this really a positive for wrestling in 2023? Back when AEW started, they took the high road, unless they were smashing thrones, which is a different route. called the Cody Road. Tony and the executives persistently maintained that they would focus on putting on the best product they could. They won't sink to WWE's carny tactics level. That tone has changed dramatically over the past year, though, with counter-programming, contract tampering, Twitter bot trolling, all understandably grinding that position down, culminating in Tony's comments here. There's an argument that this focus on shoot hate with WWE jars with what wrestling fans want in 2023. Following the Annis Crazy Abalis that was 2022, with Cody leaving, Vince disgraced, and the CM Punk backstage brawl, there is a heavy sentiment of shoot fatigue amongst wrestling fans, which might explain why the hottest thing in wrestling right now, for the first time in ages, is a kayfabe storyline with the Bloodline. Do you want to see WWE and AEW embroiled in a hate-fueled war? Or do you just want to watch great storylines on TV? Let me know in the comments while I proceed you to tell you about more hate-fueled wrestling news. Following Dave Meltzer's report that CM Punk will be available to return from injury in a few months, should AEW want to use him, Punk himself has shared a video of the rapper Ice-T talking about forgiveness to his Instagram story, specifically about forgiving people from a distance, which has been speculated to be about the estranged AEW colleagues he allegedly brawled with, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Additionally, AEW's House of Black member Brody King has liked a tweet that reads, "My toxic trait is that I don't think CM Punk did anything wrong and should come back, the conquering hero." Everyone likes CM Punk again confirmed. They're not the only ones frustrated behind the scenes in AEW. Lance Archer has posted on Twitter, 51 days since I laced up my boots last, not by choice! Lance's last match was being part of his Suzuki Goons faction's final match on the 12th of December in New Japan. To find his last AEW appearance, you have to go back even further to the November 18th episode of AEW Rampage, where he lost in the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament to Ricky Starks, which is 87 days ago. Speaking of not wrestling in New Japan or AEW segue, at Saturday's New Beginning and Osaka show for New Japan, Jay White lost his Loser Leaves Japan match against Hikuleo, meaning he is done with the promotion. Specific geographic territory in Asia, because if you read the fine print of the stipulation, White's career in Japan was on the line, not in New Japan, which is why he cut a promo afterwards in defeat about coming to New Japan's United States promotion, New Japan Strong, which he vows to take over. He's already scheduled to face Eddie Kingston at their Battle in the Valley event on the 18th of February. White could also lose that match as a way to put over Kingston too, especially because Fightful have reported their WWE sources feel confident about getting the Switchblade to sign, with his New Japan contract fully up between Battle in the Valley and WrestleMania 39, potentially putting him as a great surprise for the Raw after Mania. This would be a loss for AEW, who are reportedly interested in signing White too. After over half a year of unprofessionally walking out on WWE, Sasha Banks will wrestle her first match as Mercedes Mone on that same Battle in the Valley show. She'll wrestle Kairi for the IWGP Women's Championship, but the title's next challenger might already be getting lined up. Mercedes has posted a side-by-side picture of her and the current Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion Mickie James on her Instagram. This was how Mercedes first teased going to New Japan and facing Kairi in the first place. Perhaps this signals Mickie James will appear after the IWGP Women's title match to set up a title versus title fight. With the wrestling world becoming ever more global and interconnected, you definitely don't want to have any lingering DUIs preventing you from entering certain countries. So the Usos better count themselves lucky, as they will reportedly be allowed into Canada for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, after being denied entry for the last time WWE were in the country for a SmackDown episode back in August. Funnily enough, a situation that allowed Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns to interact properly for the first time. Dave Meltzer is reporting both Jimmy and Jay are both cleared, despite Jimmy's previous history with DUIs. This potentially paves the way for the Usos to be involved in the Roman vs. Zayn match, even though Heyman and Reigns told the Usos to stay at home for the Canadian shows. We've got a brand new go-home show diving into all the backstage drama surrounding this year's Royal Rumble Premium Live event. I'd love if you could support the channel, watch it now, and share it around. Here's a look.
The most rumbliest time of the year for WWE came just as a boardroom battle royale was brewing, as Vince McMahon muscled his way back into the company, sending multiple board members over the top rope. Cody Rhodes returned to action after having wrecked his pec last year, entering the men's rumble at number 30 and going on to win the entire